In this excerpt from A Star is Born, I will be focusing on causality and how this scene specifically follows the conventions of causality within classical Hollywood cinema. First, let's explore how this scene establishes character consistency, an important aspect of narrative causality. One way Hollywood cinema achieves this is through recurring motifs. An example would be Norman Mailer's famous line to Esther, which is repeated by Esther in the beginning of the scene for the very last time.
Do you mind if I take just one more look?
Although it is not spoken by Norman himself, the line still relates to him and carries narrative function. Oftentimes, a motif will mark a significant stage in the story's action, here being Norman's death. When Esther says it this time around, the phrase holds more meaning, acting as a sort of final farewell. Thus, the motif functions as a means of tracing the arc of their relationship. Next, we'll look at how Hollywood employs two lines of action to advance narrative causality. Here we see Esther on the edge of giving up acting, an aspiration that has driven forward the narrative up to this point. This makes sense, as in order for a character to take on a causal role, their dreams and goals must be clearly defined from the get-go. Esther conforms to this model. Her desire of becoming a movie star is asserted from the very beginning. However, rarely is there just one line of action to follow. Esther's relationship with Norman offers another line of action, and these two lines of action enter into a pattern of cause and effect. As she grows closer to Norman, her personal ambitions are impacted. It is not uncommon to make the second line of action causally related to the romantic action, as noted by Burwell, the second line of action referring to her career in this case. He states that, quote, action triggers reaction. Each step has an effect which in turn becomes a new cause, end quote. In the context of this scene, Esther is reacting to the death of Norman. The effect of this event is Esther reconsidering whether her initial dream of being a famous actress is worth it. The advice her grandmother gives inspires a new cause within Esther to continue acting.
You know, Esther, I can't believe that wherever he is, he can be very happy, knowing that his death broke the spirit of the little girl he praised me so highly for raising. And I can't believe that he can be very proud, knowing that all his great love did for you was to make you a quitter.
When she decides to stay in Hollywood, she's no longer just doing it for herself, but for Norman as well. Clearly, Esther's pursuit of her own goals are tightly intertwined with her relationship with Norman, a typical characteristic of narrative causality. Using this turning point scene near the end of the film, we can see how character consistency and multiple lines of action in A Star is Born conform to the traditional aspects of causality within classical Hollywood cinema.